Hi, I'm Andy from Trend Tool Technology, and today I'm going to be talking you through our brand new AnyDoor door hanging jig. Comes in this nice zip up carry case, everything you need is in here. Another little case for all your accessories so you don't lose any of those. And this time it's a modular system, so it comes pre-assembled, is a 3-part. And the idea being is these will actually slide into each other like so. And what this means is this is sold as a standard for traditional UK sized doors. So your 6.6, 6.8, 6.9s, that sort of stuff. That's where it's designed to fit. But now, because it's modular, if you want to increase your door size, we sell additional rails from 1 foot, 18 inch, 2 foot to 3 foot. So you can build to any size you want. There's no restriction on this jig anymore. So you can actually build it to fit the door you're working with. So you can actually mix and match it to suit. A couple of other differences on this jig as well compared to our original skeleton jig. This time around now it comes pre-fitted with these little grey blocks. Now these have got a tiny little radius in the corner here, and that's for these radius hinges. These are becoming a lot more popular nowadays. A lot of work to fit these otherwise by hand because you've still got to get the radius correct to make it look nice on your frame of your door. Now we've overcome that issue now because we put these little radius blocks in. They come pre-fitted, but you can take them out. So this jig will actually do radius hinges, it'll do your square hinges, and obviously in your various sizes. There's no restriction on that again. Traditionally, hinges are normally tend to be relatively flat on the back like this, but there are a lot of hinges coming in now, these barrel hinges like this, the ones with the ball bearings, that sort of thing. The knuckle now protrudes at the back. So the problem we've been seeing is if you're fitting this to the traditional position you normally fit to the inside of the leaf here, this will sometimes sit in a little bit too far on these barrel hinges, which means when they go in, they'll actually kick up off the barrel, so you've got to pare a little bit of material away. We've overcome that on this newer one. We've put a new setting on this one to allow for these hinges, so you've got no issues whatsoever. So if you are using the barrel type ones, then the hinges will sit flat, you haven't got any extra work to do. As before, just like our skeleton jig, each of these runs up and down inside, like so. So that is exactly the same as before. You've got your same twist connection like this. This locks it into position. And this little disc here, there are 5 positions on this. On the block itself, it tells you each position. And it'll tell you how far in you're going to sit this from the edge of your door. And you've got a 12.7, a 19, a 25, a 30 and a 35. These are all presets, so each one of these will relate to a set position of your hinge leaf. So on these, as I was saying, this is now 19mm to allow for that knuckle, and this is a standard 30mm. So again, there's variations all the way up through, so you can preset as before. And the idea being, what you would do, you preset all of these in position, and that would then allow you, this is the one in position on this little door here. All these little discs here then would be sitting up what would be against your edge of your door line in here. And you can see I've got an architrave on here. So it will actually sit behind the quirk line, so there's no reason to take any architraves off or anything. So if you are doing refurb work, fitting new doors back into old frames, you can just reposition your jig into the frame, pick up your hinge positions, transfer them back to your new door. Very, very simple, very quick and easy. When this is together, so what we've got now, the connecting rod is there inside, and now when I loosen this off, I can go straight past that anywhere I like, and that goes all the way up through. So I can put any hinge anywhere I like within the whole frame. So if I want to put a hinge 6 from the top and I want to put one at 14, or if I want to put one at 24, anywhere I like, I can put it within that framework. There are no restrictions whatsoever on this at all. So again, that makes it a lot more flexible, depending on what doors you're fitting. And again, with the flexibility of this, if you are doing little doors like this one, this could be going into the eaves of a loft, for argument's sake, for a loft conversion to make use of the eave space, or it could be under stairs. So again, you've got your stair coming down and you want to build in under there. This will allow you to fit doors within it and put your hinges anywhere you like within that, again, within that structure. As usual, we supply braddles to fit this with. It comes with 6 this time, 1 for each block. This is designed for a 3-hinge system, but as I say, it's a modular system, so you can build it as big as you want. You can put as many hinges as you want. We obviously sell the accessories to go with it, so we will sell spare blocks if you need them. Any consumables, any bits you lose, any bits and pieces, we will sell it. Well, obviously you'll try and keep it in your bag so you don't lose anything. That's the benefit of it. But if you do lose anything, we have got replacements for it. But as I say, braddles come as standard, but now on each block there are 2 positions. You've got a braddle position here and there's a little countersink position. So you can actually screw it to the frame or to your door, or you can braddle it on. As you see, it comes pre-fitted with these blocks. Now, as I say, these will come out. At the moment, it's set for the radius block here. It's an R10. It says on there R10mm. It's in grey, so you can actually see that it's meant to come out. It's not there as a permanent fixture. So what you do with this one, as you can see, the radius is here. So that would cut that radius on that hinge. So that hinge was going in like so, that would match that radius. Square hinges, you just take these out. So it's simply a matter of a single screw. And again, what we've done with this jig is we have tried to make this as idiot proof as possible. You'll see that the screw isn't bang center of the block itself, it's offset. So therefore, when you try and stick it in, if you put it in the wrong way around, the screw won't go in. Likewise with these, when these slide into position, there are two slots in here. One is for the actual rod itself, and the internal one is for the actual slide on here. So again, this can only go in one position. It will not go in there. It's a different T-slot shape. So again, it can only go in one position. So you cannot really assemble this jig incorrectly. The only thing you've got to be aware of when you do assemble is block to block, countersinks with your bradawl holes, obviously all need to be in a line. So if you've got one piece back to front, you'll have bradawl holes down this side, bradawl holes down this side. It's incorrect. But there's also on here a little arrow that tells you you've got to go block to block. So as long as your arrows are pointing inwards to each other this way for your hinge recess this side, and all of your bradawls or screw holes are all facing the same direction that way, you're set up and you're good to go. So that's that. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to assemble this. And as I say, these can only go in one way, so these will just slide in like so. There's a little indicator mark there, like a halfway line on the bar itself. It doesn't have to be smack on because these holes are elongated, so there is a little bit of leeway on it. So all you're looking to do is just run these in. So as I say, that's ready to go. So just pay attention, as I said before, make sure everything's all in the same alignment, and then you just slide this together. That just slides in. So as that's butted up, you put your screws in. And there are a few spare ones in the bag as well, so you haven't got to worry if you drop one and lose it in all the sawdust. So that's the jig assembled. And as you can see, as I say, everything now is all in alignment correctly. All of my holes are in the same side of the jig. So all I need to do, if I'm setting this up now to do a door, first is align the discs to where I want to be. So I'd slacken all of these off. Whichever hinge I'm going to use, I'll be basically picking up the hinge and I'll be looking at the distance I want to go inside here. That's what this disc does. It sets how far in from the edge of the door it goes. So if this is the edge of my door here, it sets how far in it goes. I want to go in this much on this hinge. It will be this much on this hinge. So essentially that's what this does. This controls how far this goes in and out on the edge of your door or your frame. So I'll go for one of these. So I know that this is a 19mm now because I've got the barrel hinge. So I've got a 19mm setting on this. So I can just preset. And as I say, each block has got these presets built into it. It will show you what each position means. And now if I go out to the furthest point there, as I said before, that one there is 35. Now, as I slide it forwards, it will jump in. So it's gone down into there, that's 30. If I do it again, it jumps into the next one, which is 25. We'll jump into the next one, it's 19. And there, 12.7. So that's given me my presets. They're already built into the jig itself. So all I need to do is just stick it into the 19 one, which I know is that position there. So I'm going to set each one of those at 19. So now, this is now all in alignment, all the way down through the jig now. So when this goes up against the edge of the door, all of these discs now would be addressing what would be the edge of the door line in here. So obviously on the hanging side, it would address against there. That would set how far in it goes. So when I chop the hinge in, it will sit it in the correct depth. So when the door sits in, it sits in nice and flush. Now this works in a mirror. So you've got this top tab here. So if I was fitting this now, if this was the door, it would be rotated over. It would sit against the top of the door. That would address the top of the door like so. And I would rat out the apertures. Then I would flip it into the door frame. That would go up against the head of the door, and that would do exactly the same again. So you're just mirroring what you've already done. So everything's in alignment, but I still need to set the hinge length. So if I was fitting this hinge here, if I wanted to go 6 inches from the top, come off the inside there, because that's the top of my door, then I could just slide that down until I hit the 6-inch mark. And what that is, that little tab there, that's a 2mm difference, a 2mm step on that between the actual face of the block and the 2mm step. And what that's for is with the router itself, you've got a 12mm cutter, 16mm guide bush, so you need a 2mm offset either side of the cutter, so it's going to rest against that wall, so it needs to give you a 2mm inset. That's the tab on this side. On the opposite side, same thing, it's going to address on this side on the guide bush, 2mm this side. So essentially what I'm doing, I'm oversetting these by 4mm. And then I'm also going to be doing the same thing on this, is 2mm, But this is built into the jig. You don't have to worry about that one. This is all built into these discs. The 2mm on this side is all catered for. So the only thing I need to do now, I've set this top one, that's where I need it to be. And essentially what I'd be looking to do, I would set top, bottom, middle, setting all the top positions of the hinges. And then all I need to do is whichever hinge I'm going to fit, pick the hinge up, and I'll put it into the radius, up against the little block there. So I'm now up against the little tab, the little nib. So when I slide this one up, all I'm going to do is slide that up until it touches there. And then when I tighten that off, what I've done now is, there we go, that's in tight against the little nibs itself. So when I take this out and I stick it where the actual guide bush is going to run, there's a 4mm difference, and that allows for the cutter ratio. So that means that when I cut this out, it's going to cut around there and it'll be 4mm inside. So that's going to fit perfectly. Do that for every one. Now if I'm doing radius blocks, on the square hinges, you've got tabs on every corner. There's a little nib on every corner. So I can do it this side or this side, it doesn't matter. If I'm doing radius hinges, obviously the radius doesn't have a nib on it, but it does on the opposite side. So if I was doing the nib one, I'd be exactly the same. If I was doing the radius one, should I say, I'd be exactly the same. My top part of the hinge would be taken into account. Here's my radius hinge. That would go up against the nib on the opposite side of the curved part of the block. That will go up tight again. That gets tightened off. And there we are, I've done exactly the same again. So I've now got the radius aperture in exactly the same way, using the little nibs on the bottom of the radius block itself. So what I would do, I'd have all three set up in position. That will give me my hinge length, which is set by the blocks themselves. My hinge insets, which is set by the discs. That's it. All I need to do now really is actually set the router up, set the depth, stick it on the door, and I'm done. In reality, if this is a brand new setup out of the box, this jig can be set up in less than 5 minutes. You'd be raring to go, you'd be straight onto your work. And in actual fact, once it is actually set up and you are ready to go on your doors, these hinges, you'll chop the hinges into your door, 2 or 3 minutes, 5 maximum, and that's it. And then you stick it on the door and on the frame itself. Be honest, it should be a fast, quick fit every single time. What I'm going to do, I'm going to set this back up again on a door, and I'll do a little bit of routing just down in there. Okay, so this is our door we're going to set up now. This is a 6'6" door, so I'm going to come 6 from the top, 9 from the bottom, 1 in the centre. Little tip for anybody who's out there who doesn't know this one, very, very quick and easy if you are doing it. If you measure from the top of your door and mark 6, and then go 36 and 66, that's the top of your hinges all sorted out now. So essentially what that's done, when I put a 3-inch hinge on there, and a 3-inch hinge on there, and a 3-inch hinge on there, that's automatically 9 from the bottom, that's 6 from the top, so I've measured it, and that one automatically comes bang centre. So you haven't got to worry about trying to work out your distances in between. So just remember that, 6, 36, 66, can't go wrong. 3-inch hinges on a 6'6" door always works. So the first one, I'm just going to rest this on lightly onto the door, get my discs up against the edge of the frame, edge of the door itself. So now what I'm looking to do is get my top plate tight against the edge of the door there, and I'm going to just bring this first block into alignment onto my line I've just put on. So now that's going to go up to there, okay? And now when I tighten this off, that's just going to tighten into that position. And I'm just going to stick a bradawl in just to hold it. That just goes in. The jig's secure now, so I can set the rest of the jig up quite easily. So as I say, I'm going to bring up this one. This is the top of my hinge, and you can see I'm right over a plate here. No problems whatsoever. That's the top of the hinge picked up again there. This gets tightened off. I'm going to do the same on this bottom one. So I'm now going to pick up that position there. And I'm going to tighten this one off. So what I've done, I've picked up top, and top of the hinges. All I need to do now is pick the hinge I'm going to fit. As I say, because I'm using a square hinge, I can use the inside nibs or the outsides. So I can stick it up against that little block there, slide this one up and tighten this off. That's that one fixed. Same on this one. I slide up, I bring it up and I tighten it off. That's that one fixed. And I slide it up and I bring it up and I tighten it off. That's it. So all I do now is knock in all the bradawls. I'm making sure that all of these discs are up tight against the edge of the door. because as I said, that sets how far in the leaf goes into the edge of your door this way. You have to make sure everything's in alignment because your hinges have to be in alignment on your frame as well. You don't want them kicking out on the bottom or in on the top or either way around, sticking your door into twist or making it bind. So as soon as you've got your disc set in position, your blocks are in position, you bradle it all down, you're ready to go. I'll show you that in a second, but just to show you how quick and easy it is to set the router up as well. So you need a 16mm guide bush. It comes supplied in the AnyDoor kit. The cutter you need is 12mm. It needs to be a long shank one because you have to go down through 25mm of jig before you engage on the door. The standard one won't do. You need a longer shank cutter. We sell those as well. We offer that solution. So all I'll be looking to do is I will bring it onto the jig, I will drop it down and I will tighten off. So now what I've done, that now is touching the top of my door. So I've zeroed this out. This is actually going to float on top of the door without doing any cut whatsoever. So I'll take my hinge, I'm going to fit, which is this one. And if I stick that on a turret position and drop the turret down onto it, take that back. What I've done now, I've set the depth as well. So that there is set the depth of the leaf. So I'm only going to cut that deep now because that's going to restrict how far the plunge goes in. So essentially what I've done, I've set up all three bits. Two go onto the jig itself, which is how far into the door it goes this way, how long your hinge is, that is all set on the jig. The depth of the cut is all set on the router, and that's it. Three positions, that's all you need, and away you go. So now you can just bradle it all off, make sure everything's in the right position, you're happy with everything, and away you go. Simple as that. You can see there the 2mm difference of the nibs. You can see I've cut 2mm basically inside of where the nib is, 2mm inside off of this wall here. So essentially everything's all built in, all your clearances are all built in. So now when I put the hinge in, I square the corners up, the hinge is sitting perfectly. So depending on what you're doing, obviously square hinges, radius hinges. I've set this block up here with the radius blocks in. So I'll cut a radius one in here. Again, just to show how easy it is and how good the fit is on the hinge when it's ready. So let's do that one now. Again, you can see you've got your 2mm margin all the way around. This time around, you've got a much bigger sweep on this one you have on the square block, simply because we've incorporated the little radius recess on here, or a radius action part of it here, to give you the correct diameter of the hinge, which is an R10, 10mm radius. So now with your recesses cut for your hinges, it's just a matter of taking the jig off. Now on your square hinge here, you've still got the radius obviously because of the cutter and the guide bush. So we need to square these up. This is our trend corner chisel. So this goes straight in, corner like so, up against the little nut, and there you go, and it takes that corner out. There's a little recess with a radius in before. This is it after. Same again, spin it round into the corner like so, and then sharp tap, and you're done. So that's squared up, ready to go. And now the hinge fits perfectly. There you go. And we're nice and flush because we've set that with the router itself. Everything's been set in the correct inset this way with the discs on the jig. Length's been set with the blocks. Perfect fit every time. If you come down to this one, this is the radius one. This is now just a straight fit straight off the machine itself. There's no extra squaring up on this obviously. And all I have to do now is just put the hinge straight in, and again, there you go. So you've got perfect fit every time. So that's the Trend AnyDoor, the latest time-saving solution from Trend. It's available from its.co.uk.